Wow. We don't get out of the kitchen or the bakery much, so this is kind of a big deal for us to be in front of everyone. So
usually I'm able to dodge those kind of Sandra in front, but I don't know.
I dragged him along. Yeah. Since it's Collaborate, I thought I should bring him with me.
Right. So, yes, collaboration. So what we're going to talk about today is collaboration, and we didn't write a book, Collaboration for Dummies or anything. So really the only thing we can talk about is what that meant for us, in our specific case, and hopefully there's some nuggets you'll be able to take that might apply to you or make sense to you, but that's kind of our approach here. So yeah, collaboration, what benefits did we get from collaboration? And then what did we do to foster collaboration at the bakery? And you see a lot of those things were really instinctive. It's not like we sat down and mapped out, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that to create that environment.
It just happens, I think.
A lot of that just happened.
And so preparing for this, we were really struggling with what the heck do we talk about? Because we just work together all the time, and we're together all the time. So it took us a while to kind of hash out what the heck we were going to say.
Right.
All right. So this is a sort of a picture of then and now. Florial, we started at the Green City Market, and really we had a 10 by 10 tent, and it was just the two of us. Well, and shortly after, little Stella there. Really a mom and pop business that we were collaborating together. We didn't have employees to begin with.
Yeah. We started back in 2006, and really just we were working out of a shared kitchen, so it was not even just the kitchen we had to
rent by the hour. Yeah.
Rent by the hours. And so 2010 is when we opened our brick and mortar place. But just a quick intro on who I am. So I'm Mathieu. Born and raised in Detroit, actually. Sorry. Okay, so Paris. Okay, yes, it'll be the cliche. Yes, there's a lot of good pastries and bread available in Paris, in France in general, so it's not exceptional. That's kind of what I grew up eating and enjoying. I had no interest whatsoever with baking or being in the kitchen, just no interest whatsoever. So I studied computer science. That's what I did, yeah. And so that's my first job was in that tech industry. Found a job in Paris. The good thing is they had their headquarters in San Francisco. I flew there for training for 2 months, and I just loved that city. And so even though before I wanted to move to the US just for a change, because so much time in Paris is a great city, but just wanted to see something else. And so came to San Francisco again, loved it. That was back in 2000. Took a bit of time, and in October 2001, I finally moved permanently to the US, so in San Francisco. And then in 2002, I met this lovely lady right over there, Sandra.
So me, I am from Rockford, Illinois, born and raised Midwest. Wow, my family was not a bunch of cooks or bakers. My mom made fat-free brownies and fat-free Rice Krispie bars. I think even fat-free nachos with Kraft cheese. So we were, I don't know what happened. Something went awry, and I really fell for butter along the way. It was all that. It was kept away from me, so I had to make up for lost time. Anyway, so I went to school. I studied French. I studied abroad and really fell. I guess I'm a Francophile, is what it turns out. I eventually moved to San Francisco as well, where I met this guy. Was laid off during the dot-com bubble. I was working in marketing, and then I decided to go to culinary school, and just things really fell in line for me, and I ended up working at Tartine Bakery. If you've heard of it, it's I don't know how I got a job there, but I did, and I feel so lucky and so inspired by having worked there. And when we left and came here, I was really confused because that was sort of my experience. Like, where's Tartine in Chicago? Where's a great bakery? We weren't seeing it, and
that's one of the first things we did when we got here, is to kind of try to get a list of all the bakeries. And there was really nothing that, all the bakeries we could find were either cupcakes or more maybe traditional, kind of old style type of pastries. Definitely nothing.
Yeah, very German, very Swedish. It just wasn't what we were seeing in San Francisco, I guess. And so there was a major opening in the market, and that's kind of how we got the idea to start Florial. It wasn't part of the game plan in the beginning. I think I wanted to keep training and learning, and then start something when I had enough experience. But I had 2 years of baking experience, and we got here, and the door was open for us to create something, so we jumped in.
Yeah. So again, as we said, we started just initially. She was going to do only the baking. Again, and up to that day, I have to admit. So even though I have the French accent, I'm still not in the kitchen. And still, everything you guys have been eating is really coming from this lady. So I'm just the face, the accent, but she's the real. So she's the real genius behind it all.
But it takes both. I think that's how our collaboration works, is that maybe I'm not so good at the business side, and we always say we'd probably be bankrupt if I was doing the books and Mathieu was doing the baking. But we found our sort of happy place where he deals with the stuff that I don't really like to deal with, and I deal with the things that he likes to eat. So.
Yeah. So we started just again the two of us, and now Florial. Every time I think about it, just mind boggled by where we are now. We have, it seems, like more than 30 employees, which is just nuts. Basically, there's always someone in the kitchen, I think, except from...
For about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, the bakery is empty. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like a machine that's always going on. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Oh. Oops, wrong button. Okay. So, you go?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. Let's collaborate.
Okay. What did we decide?
So, like I said, we talked a lot about what does collaborate mean, and gosh, there's so many sort of meanings, and there's so many different ways at Florial that we collaborate. We collaborate with a gardener who's helped us create a rooftop garden. We collaborate with other farms that come and take our food scraps for compost. We really collaborate with our employees as well. The staff really is a big part of what we do, and they're always bringing new and innovative ideas to the table. We collaborate between ourselves.
And I think for us, it's, just obviously because we started first by living together, that was the starting point. It was not, let's just meet in a business environment and figure out how we can work together. We were already working together, living together, just to raise our kids, to just, go in life. So even up to that point, there's really, the lines is really blurred between, is this personal life? Is this
family life?
Working? What is it? It's just like, it's not like, oh, it's 5:30, we're done with the bakery, we don't talk about the bakery. We don't have...
We always talk about the bakery.
There's no such thing.
No. So, anyway, getting back to this. We collaborate. Sometimes it's not easy. We work hard at it. So we try to work towards a common goal. That's the simplest definition, is working together towards a common goal.
Yeah, and I think, again, so the point I was trying to make is, because we live together, I think really what we were able to create at Florial is something that is kind of an extension of our relationship. Obviously, we're just still just us in the couple, but our relationship with other staff members is really not something, it's almost more like a friendship relationship than really boss to
do
every kind of thing. And it's, again, it's really not by design. We want to claim that we thought that would be the best. It's just what was natural for us because we're not,
Work it has to be enjoyable for us because we do it all the time. It never really ends, I think.
I think that's the thing. We spend so much
and
time there.
It's a family.
It has to be, we have to be able to enjoy it, enjoy the people we work with.
So.
Right. Boom.
Okay, so the one thing that we've decided, after talking about this quite a bit, so there's some serious benefits to working together and collaborating and not trying to do everything alone. And one of the things for us is that we're able to solve problems more quickly. So the one example that I can really come up with is when we were opening Florial, we knew that when we were opening the brick and mortar, I should say, we knew we wanted to have an artisan bread program. I am more of a pastry person. I have experience with some artisan bread, but it's not my passion. It's a totally different sort of mindset. It's a much more methodical, relaxed sort of way of working as opposed to pastry. I think we're a little bit crazy and frenetic and run around. And so I quickly realized, okay, if we want to have bread, I don't think I can do it myself. I need to find somebody that can help me get there. Let's start a bread program. And we had our very first employee, Rachel, who's absolutely wonderful. She had a background in bread, and so I said, Rachel, will you help us create a bread program? This is what I'm thinking I'd like to do. Does that fit in with kind of what experience you have? And we just started working together, and slowly but surely we came up with a bread program that would allow us to have bread every day at the bakery when we opened for our sandwiches, and we could showcase that. And I can tell you that if I decided to do that myself, I don't know if we'd have bread today. We might have some bread, but it wouldn't be nearly as good. And if we had bread at all, yeah? Don't you think?
I think one of the issue, I think for, as far as collaboration is sometimes to be able to take a step back, and even though, Florial is so much about, our common vision, in this instance, and there are many instances afterwards, is to be able to let someone else come in and kind of start to become part of that journey. And that was the first step,
Letting go.
Letting go a little bit so that someone can come in and start to really contribute. Okay, if you're just, you define like boundaries that are so strong, so close, it's really hard then for someone to actually join in and feel like they're part of what's going on. Next.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are some of our staff members who are really awesome. We're always having a lot of fun at work. But another benefit of collaborating is it really creates a sense of community, and this is kind of something that we're touching on a little bit before. We want it to feel like a family, a place where everyone is giving a little bit and hopefully getting something as well. So whatever you put into a job, I think if you are able to give a little bit of yourself, it makes it feel more like it's your own, and you're part of the community. So this is something that we're trying to do. Betsy and Danielle that are here with those are macarons over their eyes. They really wanted to start a macaron class. We get a lot of requests for us to do classes, and I don't know. I said, if you guys want to take care of this and do it, go ahead. They ran with it. It was very successful. We hosted, I don't know, a good 10 classes for making macaron. Who knew that people wanted to make these at home? They're such a pain. But people did, and they came and they took the class, and I think that Betsy and Danielle got something out of it. They learned how to design a class and refine that, and it brought people into the kitchen, and that's what people seem to really want to do. They want to get behind the scenes and see how we do things, and so that was a great contribution that they made. We've got Lisa up top, who is always contributing by making fun events at the bakery. And hopefully she'll be around for a while because she's a big part of the family right now, I think. So, benefits. So we think another thing that is beneficial to collaborating is you get a lot more innovation if you're working together. I'm sure anyone can agree with me on this, that a lot of ideas coming together about the same product might come up with something a lot better than if you're sitting by yourself really thinking, how can I be innovative and make this interesting? Sure, sometimes that happens, but everyone working together to make something new and better is always better than one. Here we have a picture of our hot cross-bun macaron, which I think was a great innovation we came up with a couple years ago. We already make hot cross buns for Easter, which are one of my favorite things. I get really excited every year for those. But this was a great idea to kind of meld the sort of American hot cross bun with the French macaron and do something that you wouldn't see here or there. And they're really good, by the way, too. So it's a sort of a cinnamon-scented macaron, and then in the center it has a prune filling, which give prunes a chance, everyone. They're really good. And then some cream cheese frosting holding all that prune in, and then just the cross on the top. Really excited about that. All right.
All right. So now, fostering collaboration, I think to go back to kind of the definition we used at the beginning, which is collaboration is working together toward a goal. You know, really the important piece in there, one of the key pieces is being on the same page as to what that goal is. You know, there are many times where, you know, we had lively discussions, we're yelling at each other, you know, when trying to work towards something, and then, you know, just, I think, to finally realize that the issue was that we are trying to achieve different things. We are not on the same page as to what was the goal we are trying to achieve. And so, you know, well, that was between us. I think with some of our partners, there are times where that has happened as well. As Sandra mentioned, you know, we organize sometimes some monthly dinners with some chefs. And some of the ones that have been the most successful is really where we've shared the same vision, the same take on things in terms of you know, using local sustainable ingredients and beyond that. So there are examples where there are times where we've had to even stop some relationship we had with some of our customers.
So we started wholesale, gosh, is it 2 years now? At any rate, we started wholesaling our products, and so you might have seen some of our pastries at Intelligentsia or La Colombe, some other smaller coffee shops as well. And we started working with another company in the city, and we just realized after a couple weeks that our vision wasn't the same. We set up some very strong parameters on how we want our product to be displayed and treated to make sure that the integrity of what we make is getting to the customers when they get it, even if they're not getting it from us. And we had some problems with one of our wholesale customers. They thought it was okay to take our product and sell it the day after, which it's not okay, and we clearly stated that before, and they really argued with us on this, and we said, okay, we're done. You know, we are not sharing the same vision. If we're going to give you our product to sell, it has to be of a certain quality to be able to sell it. So the vision, if somebody can't get on the same page of the vision as you, it's maybe not worth it to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is completely random. You know, I chose pictures and stuff, and so we wanted to talk about strengths and weaknesses. I just like that picture, so it doesn't make sense, I know. Anyway, so you know, there are some collaboration where it's really two people who have similar skill sets. Okay, for example, in the kitchen, Sandra and another pastry chef working together to come up with something. And then there are collaboration where you're actually relying maybe in a more obvious manner on the strength of someone and then strength of the other person. So for us, again, you know, in the very early days, obviously Sandra was going to bring kind of the baking, the food side of to fulfill our vision, and I was more going to bring kind of the back office skill, you know, the not very sexy, accounting, payroll, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. You know, over time there's been, you know, obviously some kind of cross contribution. So every time she baked something, I was there to taste it because, well, that's.
And in the early days, Mathieu, you were in the kitchen with me, helping, because I realized very quickly for the markets I couldn't do it all by myself. So I drug him. He finished his 9-to-5 job, and I dragged him to the kitchen with me, and he helped a lot. You helped a lot. He learned to bake, kind of.
Yeah. Anyway, I learned to follow instructions. So, but even up to that day, I think we still that's kind of a separation of roles, you know, so we collaborate, but with some areas of expertise of where, you know, Sandra again is going to have kind of the final words on all the matters of products, of design, of marketing, and then again all the money side of the equation is going to come from me. And that applies really kind of a day-to-day basis, but also when we are kind of talking about taking strategic decision. Again, going back to that wholesale example, I approach that, you know, from the financial point of view. What is that going to mean to us? You know, how does it need to look like so that it makes sense from a financial standpoint? And then Sandra was approaching that more from okay, what kind of customers do we want to have? You know, it's really there are a lot. We got a lot of inquiries over the years, and we've been fortunate to be able to be picky and just work with people we like. We feel we share that common vision.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Next slide. It's a doozy. Okay. So I think the last thing really to us that is important. And I think we were able to achieve, again, in kind of an organic manner versus thinking specifically about it, is to create an environment where people feel like they can contribute. And I think that's as reflected in some of the examples we've talked about early, really of staff contributing in areas in which they were kind of hired. So we were expecting them to contribute with the baking, for example, or dishwasher to clean dishes, but I want to think that because of the environment we were able to create, oftentimes we got contribution in unexpected areas. You know, so someone was hired. So now we have our dishwasher who just became our handyman. Every time something breaks,
everything breaks
helps
all the time.
Yeah. So I think it's really about creating that environment where people feel free. Feel like they can contribute.
Yeah.
We had another example of the opposite.
Yeah, so we have a relatively new staff member who is working on the sort of savory side of things, and she recently left a job in fine dining, where fine dining is kind of a whole different ball game, where it's, if your chef says, I need you to do this, you say, oui chef, and you do it. It doesn't matter what they told you, and it doesn't matter if they're wrong. You just say yes.
It's just about execution.
Do it. It's sort of this old guard of, you know, bark at me and I'll jump. And so it was really, I think in her first week at the bakery, Jill asked me, you know, I'm making this soup sounder, do you want me to add some herbs to it? And I said, you know, usually I'd say yes, but no, not this time. I just want it to be the way that the recipe says, please make it that way. And you know, she kind of caught herself after that and said, I'm so sorry for questioning your recipe. I know better than that. I'll never do that again. And I was, wait, what? Because that, you know, I never worked in a kitchen like that. I've heard all about it, but it just seems so crazy to me to break somebody down to the point where they don't think on their own. And I think, you know, hopefully we had a conversation after that, and I want her to feel, you know, like it's a safe place where she can make those suggestions. Can I add herbs here? Can I do this? Maybe we add more acid to make the recipes better. But I don't ever want anyone to feel like they can't, you know, throw an idea out there without getting shot down. And because, you know, their idea might be better than what we already have. So we try to foster that. That's the last slide.
I just kind of want to know, like, why Chicago?
Oh, so Chicago because we actually were planning on moving to Paris. And my family lives in the area. And we were waiting for, Mathieu was having a hard time getting his green card. We gave up our apartment in San Francisco. He was still waiting for his green card. And we had family here, so we came and stayed here for a while we were waiting for his green card. And it was taking forever, which allowed us time to visit the city. And then, I don't know, we ended up with a dog, and then pregnant. And then we were here. That was it.
And
much, I think your parents are a little upset about that still, but.
Well,
yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it was not, it's really because of her family being around. We didn't look at a map and, okay, let's see where we're going to start the Florian Empire. It was just, in San Francisco, we love that city. We're just far away from everybody we knew.
Yeah.
So moving to Chicago, we were at least closer to half of the family per side. Surprising, right? Anyway, so that's the reason for Chicago. Do we choose?
I see.
Why did you pick the name? Did you collaborate on it, or did you
Well, this was the gift to my mother-in-law. So our last name is Holl or Holl, and we didn't think Holl Bakery would be such a pretty name. So Mathieu's mom, she hyphenates. She's Florie Holl, and we put it together and called it Florial.
No, not really. We've been called, okay, now the name is the name and we're not going to change it. But we've been called, I don't know how many times.
Frijoles Bakery. People thought it was frijoles. Nobody can spell it.
Nobody can understand. Even now, farmers we've worked with for like
we're still
8
Floriole
years,
or
they just still don't know how to
Florial.
write
So if you're naming a business, a good one-syllable, easy to spell word is highly recommended. Yeah.
I've been there a bunch of times, and I always want to go on the rooftop garden. I don't think we're allowed. But what do you grow up there?
So we grow lots of edible flowers. That's our favorite thing to grow. If anyone's been in the warmer months, we put lots of flowers on all the pastries, which, I don't know, makes me want to eat them more. But we also grow herbs. We grow some greens. What else do we grow up there?
That's basically kind of, we figured out that's kind of what makes sense. We had a tomato plant. It's nice and all, but it produces like 3 tomatoes per week.
It doesn't go very far.
Help for the amount of that we would need. So herbs and flowers seem to be what makes sense.
Something cool that we grew this year was fava beans. They have beautiful black and white flowers, which we were picking. But the cool thing is if we missed any flowers, we actually got fava beans, which we picked late last week, and we were cooking those up to go on a tartine as a garnish for this week. But if anyone has ever shucked fava beans, you can get a pound of fava bean, or of the actual fava beans in the pod, and you end up like with a quarter cup of, there's not a lot of yield out of them. It's just more for fun than anything. Yeah?
So I have a question. You mentioned 2 different things, like one being protective of your vision, but also giving space to have other people collaborate. How do you have the 2, and where do you learn to protect your vision or expand your vision?
That's tough, and I think it's tough for people that work with us, because it takes a while to kind of like feel what that vision is. So first and foremost, I think our vision is really kind of sticking to seasonality and sort of a rustic, less fussy look. Using less is more. So we try to define all of that, and sometimes people say, oh, let's do this. Let's make a chocolate sculpture with all these ingredients, and it'll be beautiful in the case. And I have to say, no, maybe not. How about we take all of that off and make a chocolate tart, or something. People need guidance, I guess, is what it is.
But I think when people, so yes, people start to give ideas, and at the beginning, what they try to contribute is maybe where they're coming from, so the things they're used to or that they're trying to bring. And so again, sometimes it's just not within kind of the things we're doing. But then over time, as they kind of learn, and try to see what it is that we are doing, then I think what they come up with is definitely more within
That
the
scope,
vision,
yeah.
the scope of what we're trying to do. So I think it's kind of a matter of time for to bridge that gap between people who come with a different experience, different background, and kind of what we're going with.
But also I think it's something that we're trying to work on ourselves, is to create a very well-defined vision. But it's a lot of work. It's very hard to put those ideas down, because they're just kind of buried inside of me and inside of Mathieu, and really to be able to share that vision, you have to say it's this point, this point, this point, this point, and it takes a lot of work to get to that. And starting as a small business that was just the two of us at a farmer's market, and growing slowly along the way, we were never forced to like, I don't know, I think a business that starts maybe with a brick and mortar space might have to define that more clearly, as opposed to slowly, the way that we started was slowly growing. So we never really had to define it. And so now we're circling back and trying to be better at that. It's not easy though.
Just be raising your hand.
Yes, yes, yes.
10 minutes.
You're so sweet. First of all, thank you.
Oh.
Really tasty. Going from 2 people in a 10-foot square thing to 30 employees in a store is pretty major.
Yeah.
As you kind of are looking forward on the business end of the vision, do you see sort of like an apt model where your bakery just gets bigger, or do you see opening another bakery? And may I suggest Evanston? But
You know, we're struggling with this right now, and we're talking about possibly doing another sort of satellite store, but we'll still be producing out of the same bakery.
I think you know, one of the so we had those talks, you know, so many times. How should we open another place? And I think really we are the okay, help me with this.
Antithesis?
Yes, of a chain. Meaning what we have, we just don't see how to replicate that, you know? And you know, so we want to opening another store, but we're already spending so much time.
It's super labor intensive. What we do is super labor intensive, and labor intensive in pretty skilled labor. I think it's a definite skill set to be able to laminate croissant dough. It takes a lot of time, and making bread too. It's an artisan sort of product. So it's not something that's super replicable. You can't replicate it so easily. You can't take robots and do that. And by robots, I mean just people that are trained to do the same thing over and over again. And the product scope is huge. So for us to go ahead and create a pastry empire is.
And I think, you know, I think that's partly why we decided to do a bit more wholesale, because the place where all of that is made is still the same place. Okay, so we still have kind of control, and the people we work with, even if they work at night, you know, is still part of the same team and sharing the same vision. And I think, again, it would be difficult to kind of take that vision, and because there's so much of us into it, and take that and open a store, I don't know, in St. Louis or wherever. I mean, I just practically just don't see how we could do that and keep also what we like about that place.
So you're more of the app model, where you'll just be a bigger center.
I guess, yes, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to ask a question just back in time from that. How did you know it was time to jump from farmer's market to brick and mortar?
You know, after our first year at the farmer's market, we knew we wanted to do that, but it took us another 4 years to find a location and kind of get our ducks in a row to actually make it happen.
Yeah. But I think, you know, there were really steps in between. So, as I said earlier, you know, we started out of a shared kitchen Chicago at their previous location. It was really kind of trying to make things work out of that kind of small kitchen. And then as we grew, you know, still only at the market, then we moved to kind of our own kitchen. So just a space just for us. We bought some oven and stuff. I was still working just at the market. And during all that time, you know, while we still had to hire people, come up with more recipes, sales were increasing. So it was really not like, okay, we're two and boom, we open that crazy
Their baby
place. It's
steps.
just really kind of more of an evolution. If I look back, I think, we were really not efficient in the terms of achieving that final goal. I think the reason is we're a bit risk adverse. So it just took us a long time to feel comfortable to actually make that jump. And that was, again, more of an evolution more than just like a big transition. Even though you look at the place, it's huge, but it was a progression.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboration takes trust, and that can be hard to develop. So from the business side of things, how do you make sure that you're welcoming people into the family that you really can develop that trust with? And also from the personal side, how do you push yourselves to open up to trust people more?
Well, I think we were really bad at that in the beginning. Honestly, it was just me and my ideas for what we were going to bake, and Mathieu and his ideas on sort of the back of the house side. And I think we got to the point where it was, if we're going to grow, we have to give some of that up. And you have to begin to trust. And we've been very, very lucky, I think, from the get-go with some of the people that have walked through our doors and decided to work with us. Incredibly, incredibly talented people that I don't know how they ended up with us, but we were really lucky.
So I think it's more something that just, again, happened. I wish, okay, here's the formula, but the reality is no. I look back, and I think it's because, to Sandra's point, we had people who joined, and just there was this evolution of, yes, we just share the same vision. We enjoy doing the same thing, and then it becomes natural. We didn't have like a step process. Okay, let's just give them a chance. Let's see what they can do. Boom, boom, boom. It was really just things happening.
And it is a progression. I think it starts with small things. It's not, okay, I'll see you later. I'm going on vacation. Make sure the bakery runs okay. It starts with somebody saying, hey, I saw this recipe. Why don't we give it a shot? Yeah. Or they're at home and they bring something in. I made this at home. You want to taste it? And then kind of going from there. It's daily interaction. It's being present and being open to seeing what other people are bringing to the table.
We have time for one more.
One more. Yeah?
Do you have a favorite pastry you like to bake?
Oh.
Favorite pastry?
Favorite pastry I like to bake?
Chocolate chip cookies?
I hate chocolate chip cookies. I hate them. Wow, that's tough. They're all my children. They're our favorite ones, but I really love our passion fruit tart. If anyone's had it, it's full of zing, and it's bright and flavorful and rich at the same time. But I think our croissants are really exceptional. It's something that we worked really hard to get to and are constantly working on, and they're constantly kicking us in the butt and not cooperating and then coming back and doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how to give some insight on this, but basically my breakfast is one chocolate croissant every day. That's kind of what that is. And it's just the same thing. I think as you become more of an expert, you do the same thing repetitively, you start to really notice nuances. And it's amazing how, yes, a croissant, the ingredients are so simple. It's very simple. But tiny variations just make that the final product changes so much. And as you taste those repeatedly, you start to notice all those variations.
Yeah, some days he says, what happened? And some days, oh my gosh, these are amazing today. What happened?
Yeah, exactly. We were surprised like that.
Yeah. No, but it's true. I think all the products, no matter if you have a recipe or not, things change every day. And that's kind of in any field that you work in, when you are really good, I think, at what you do, you start to notice those differences. Even though you're doing the same thing every day, the end product might turn out a little bit different, and that's what we do. So, cool.
Yeah, just
all in the moment. You'll probably find something right when you get back that you can follow up with.